And Floyd, I'm going to start with you. As a club, how has this gesture, the march, been received?
Good evening. I think obviously one is aware of the march having taken place. Various media reports had attributed a number of our supporters in the Vosloorus area as having planned the march to the Vosloorus police station. For us, we would have preferred to deal with the matter differently because at the level where the investigations have been going on, we are of the view that the South African Police Service, including the Hawk, at the time in terms of media reports, that they were dealing with the matter. I think for us, we've got full confidence in the police services, and we are aware that they're doing the best they can to be able to resolve the matter. Obviously, when you deal with cases as difficult as this, it's not a given that because you've given out a reward for 250,000 rand, and by your own interpretation, it's an open and shut case. I think the legal fraternity needs to deal with a lot more than that. They've got to make it absolutely certain that the person that or people that they are following are the correct ones, lest the case be thrown out in court. So it's a bit sensitive. But on the other hand, I do appreciate the sensitivity that is still there. 2 years is not a long time when you consider this incident having taken place on that fateful Sunday evening. So it is understandable that our supporters and football supporters in general would feel aggrieved that from where they are sitting, not only are they getting information about what is happening, but there does not seem to be any breakthrough as they put it.
Well, Thabo, you've heard what Floyd had to say. It has been 2 years. I suppose this march is about keeping the issue, the injustice in the public's consciousness.
Thanks for the opportunity. I think from a perspective of NAFSA, as a National Association of Football Supporters, we have thrown our weight behind this initiative precisely because we're supporting the Senzo Meyiwa family, the football supporters of Orlando Pirates and the team. However, NAFSA is fully aware that criminal investigation in this country is obviously an exclusive domain of the South African police services. It is their jurisdiction, and this act should not ever seek to usurp or superimpose itself to take that role. But what you saw today was the commencement of what is beginning to be a social movement of football supporters in this country, who are beginning to say, not only are we just the Vuvuzela and Shosholoza singing type, but we are also a critical stakeholder who are concerned about, first, the administration of justice, socio-economic issues, and this step that you saw today was a public demonstration of indication that we want to inform the law enforcement authorities that it's been 2 years, we're not putting any pressure, but we're concerned that the investigation is taking the pace in which it's taking. We have reason to be worried.
I'm going to bring Floyd back in. Floyd, you must be impressed by the football supporters of this country. I mean, we had Orlando Pirates supporters showing up today to acknowledge Mamelodi Sundowns' achievements, and they've also come out, and it was a peaceful march today, to also just let people know that they still remember. It's that kind of, I suppose, thoughtfulness that should be commended by the club.
No, absolutely. I think at one level, what the supporters are saying is that we're members of our own respective communities before we belong to the different clubs. But at a different level, I know certainly from the PSL has been driving a message that competition in between and amongst the teams takes place only for 90 minutes on the field, and for the rest of the time, we've got to cooperate because there's greater good in numbers if we cooperate as teams as opposed to going it alone. And I think today was a reflection both at Vosloorus and obviously at the OR Tambo International Airport to be able to welcome Mamelodi Sundowns back.
Thabo, if we talk about football supporters throughout the world, they all take up issues. I think particularly Liverpool supporters who never let Hillsborough fade from public consciousness. Obviously, this is a very different case, but it is also a gross injustice. It's 2 years now, but do you think that football supporters are going to be able to sustain, and is it organizations such as yourself that are going to help them, equip them for the long haul?
I mean, if you look at the turn-up, for the mere fact that this was just a locally organized in such a short space of time, march for the locally based in Gauteng, I mean the surrounding townships in East Rand and some parts of Johannesburg, and you look at the turn-up, it is a clear indication that football supporters in this country have accelerated their level of football support. They are trying to say we are a very important stakeholder. We are a force to be reckoned with. We need to now form part of a broader discussion about issues such as crime, for instance. You know, crime does not just affect the extent to which it affected Senzo. Even football supporters, when they go to the stadium, they lose cell phones, they lose iPad, they get robbed. Now, they are trying to make a public statement of demonstration to say, we are here to clean up and we are here to make our voice heard, to demonstrate the extent to which we take football support serious. It's no longer just about vuvuzelas, like I said. It's also about critically participating in issues, socio-economic issues that affect society. And I think what we saw today is going to culminate into what we call a national episode. That's going to be a rollout. And I think the message was clear. The message was that to the law enforcement authorities, we're making this demand. 12 months down the line, we're going to be back. But when we're back, we're going to be bigger and better and stronger to make the message vociferously clear that what happened to Senzo and many others who support and play football is injustice at its best.
And Floyd, from Orlando Pirates' side, also getting the community involved. You guys are a club with very strong community roots in Soweto and indeed throughout South Africa. What do you guys plan to do to keep Senzo's memory alive?
Look, I think we can only do as far as we possibly can to commemorate him. I think we've had the misfortune over time of having lost a number of our players. So I think it's important that we don't see this as an isolated incident, because it would purely negate the effect that some of the other players that have passed on have. I think the only challenge is this was that Senzo was murdered. I think we've lost some of our great players in the process, and I think at any given time when we do have occasions, we are able to reflect on the journey that these players have traversed at the club, the influence they've had, and the contribution that they've left to be able to create a legacy for themselves at Orlando Pirates and make it the institution that it is.
Floyd Mbele from Orlando Pirates, thank you very much for joining us via the phone. And Thabo Masombuka from the supporters, thank you very much for joining us in studio. We hope to be able to extend the conversation with you.
Thanks so very much. And maybe as a last parting shot, and it is coincidental that this event and this match occurs when we do or we conduct a Heroes Welcome to Mamelodi Sundowns Football Club. The team, the management, the president, and the football club supporters who went to support them in Alexandra. We want to say this is the beginning of a step towards ensuring that football supporters in this country are indeed a force to be reckoned with.
Absolutely. A very poignant time in South African football, highs and also lows. Thabo Masombuka, thank you very much for joining us.
My pleasure.
Right, well, let's